All right. What is crack-a-lackin', fam? It is Nick here with some raw day trading, and I am sitting here up just under 300 bucks, kind of like a meh, whatever break-even day. I'm okay with that though. Um, Starting back to front, I kept trying for a nice move here on this ASBP during regular market hours, and I kind of just gave up on it after this here. And I was like, this thing is just fugazi, stupid. Then I watched this happen. I was kind of just lounging around, had in the back of my eye, or in the background while I was reading a book, and it pushes up to 72, and then after hours goes up above 75, and then 112. That was the move I was looking for during regular market hours, but the shorts and market makers were out in force, kind of controlling the price action. And that's all good. You have other opportunities besides just breakouts when that happens. So that's mainly what I was trading. I'm up 400 bucks on it. It's okay. I wasn't trading with crazy size. I mean, my max share position was like maybe 10K. I don't even think I made any money on the 10K position, but mostly because it was a stupid market end. At some point around, I think, where was it? I think this area right here. I I lost here. I didn't wait for the close on that, which is not the best, but it wasn't super necessary. But then I jumped right back in because it just made like a little petite low, and I don't know. I forgot exactly what I did. Oh, okay, this is what I did. I don't know if I'll bring up the video on this one. I don't really care too much. I was focused on it. And I kind of know what I was doing wrong in retrospect. A lot of it was managing risk, and then some of it was just, adapting to it. I ended up taking some chases on this because it would bounce at the lows here, not quite make a new low, then push off kind of like a micro double bottom here. And then this happened a few times in similar areas. And I would jump in and I would get a little bit of lift off. There was a lot of retail traders on this. Normally trickier names won't allow for that type of action to happen. Either the slip will be too bad or, it'll kind of just jerk around until it actually goes. But I was getting some good follow through on this stock. Having said that, I think the best trade I had was right here when it dipped below. I grabbed a position. I don't even think I added. I think I just wrote it up to that, or maybe it was another one. I don't remember exactly which one of these dips I grabbed up, but that was that. Okay, so and that was later in the day. Let's talk about today overall. We had SGN. SGN was our main gapper, our main pre-market runner, and our main annoying SOB. This is what we had in the pre-market, basically going up from 400% or something to 300%. Really lucrative for pre-market traders who are good at this type of sort of breaking news action, aka Ross and whoever else trades like him. They're getting all the cookies recently. Coming into the open, I was like not super stoked on this name, just because it's just very common. What we see is that strong run up and then fail into the open. And basically, your chances of making moves on this are on the rebound. And so, dips like this right here after the consolidations tended to work out a little bit better. And I think I caught one, I think it might have been here, but I'm only up $95 on it. And it was like that one trade and I was done. And then it like does this shit and curls, and just the way it was trading, I was like, really I wanted a fast halt down and then kind of like a creep up higher. That was like the action that I was looking for. Instead, to me, it felt, looking back on the chart, it wasn't really, but to me, it felt like it didn't really shake out the sellers totally. And I didn't like the action. It was very, very whippy, very volatile, which is okay. I can trade those mediocrely with small size, whatever. But then up here, it gets up to the high of 427, consolidating, volume looks okay. Does a dip here, closes solid, okay, but boom, it actually halts down right here. That halt gets bought up after the open to a nice like run up. You got from 3 to 350 basically. And I didn't participate in that, although I may have to start looking at that because that's been just a very consistent theme, is halting down and running up, halting down and running up, especially on these strong names. Yeah. But anyways, it was pretty much dead after this, makes a little attempt at a consolidation higher and then fails. All right. At the open, now I have some video. At the open, I had, let me see here. I got a little bit too aggressive at the open. Where was this? Is it 629? Yep. Okay, so SGN here, and then SGBX. So SGBX was what I was focused on, and just looking at it, what I like about it is it's kind of sold off. What I don't like about it is it's sold off too much. It's sold off sort of way too much, and sometime I was thinking 30% chance I get a pop. It is below the 200 day, but it tested really high above the 200 day, which was making me think, maybe it pops back up above what it looks like 150 is the 200, 145, and then test VWAP. And I think it does do that, but I get faked out in the meantime. The head fake gets me. And let's watch some of this action here. Keep an eye on, you see the level 2, the orders and all that. So it's trying to sell right here. I'm thinking, hey, maybe it halts down and I can like look away from it. But it gets a little bit of a bid here. I'm in with 5,000 shares. It's not really going. I'm giving it just a second longer because it is the open. It's not moving anywhere. Yeah, and I give it a little bit too much time, and I take a $150 loss there, which is fine. I stopped out. Sellers come back in here. It's not looking fantastic to take a position, and I think I played the next couple trades decently, but not perfectly. Buying there. I'm in at 111. I got to cut it. Creeps lower. Another 100 down. Keeps pushing, starts flashing, boom, back in. And then that cuts most of my loss. Now I'm only down 75 after that. Sellers back in trying to push this lower. They are, to be fair, a little bit late. It's getting held still. Probably should be stopping out there. Yep, and there is a stop out. And so now I'm down $7. I think I let it be for the moment. It's not looking overly good. It does here what I think is a double bottom, right? Yeah, it does a double bottom. And this is the part where I get faked out. I think it's going to test low, if not flush, and then it actually gets bid up here pretty nicely. So, okay, there's there's some selling. Selling's not totally going through, and then it starts getting bought up. And I guess I could have bought it right there. Did not. I was a little too slow on the uptake. Didn't do it. And then I start focusing elsewhere. I actually, to be fair, did not like the stock anymore. It was a lot of selling. The 5 minute was about to close, and I was like, I gotta wait for the 5 minute to close before I make any new decisions on this, because this looks like it's going down. Just to get some clarity, hitting the pause button. At one point, I was down 250. So I was just cooling the jets, as they say. It does look like it's holding after I try to sell off. A little bit of volume coming in. There's a halt level up at 28. Okay. But I'm also now getting distracted by the stock on the other side, which is SGN. Horrible candle on SGN. That just looks funky AF. And SGBX, I think, has a lot of potential to flush, but it's not flushing. And so at this point, I think the sellers are going to come in strong, but the sellers that already, push the stock down are going to get pushed out themselves right here. And then they're going to have to reposition closer to the 200-day here in a second. So it keeps creeping up. The buyers keep coming in. It tests this pivot. I think it's going to blow right through this pivot, the previous price action in this area right here. And I don't want to sit around and watch it. I just want to have a broad overview. Yep, sellers keep trying to come in and push it down. If you see this here, so it's at 25, and then it's at 500. The 500 keeps stepping down from 23 to 22 to 21. That's someone with a marketable limit short order, but because it's short sale restriction SSR right here, the order only gets filled on upticks, so someone has to buy those orders, and so he wasn't getting filled, and it just sellers kept pushing, getting out of the way of that, or buyers kept getting out of the way of that seller, and it kept, the stock kept stepping down. But then it's up above that level. I jump in here for a second. I'm in at 28. I think it's a good fill, bad fill, 1 cent loss. What was it? Yeah, so I hit it, and it pushes the stock up. Let's see what my fills are. Do I have multiple fills? Yeah, so I hit it. I get filled at an average of 28.5, which is 50 cents higher than the price was signaling when I hit the button. All right, or not 50 cents, but 0.5 cents. I take it out for a small loss, break even, whatever. And I'm annoyed. annoyed that I got filled high on that, so I don't trade it anymore. Or I wait for the flushes. This dip actually holds nicely. So it gets bought up, tries to dip again. I might have been able to take that. It was sketchy though. I guess everything's sketchy till it works, right? Really nice extension. Keeps pushing up. And I'm not really trading it here. And then I'm going to take a dip here. It's okay, so technically it's a rejection of a significant level, which is basically the VWAP and then the 200 EMA. But why I thought it was good and why it maybe wasn't good, or maybe it wasn't good because it was that rejection of that significant level. But in my head, I was thinking, I know it's a rejection of the significant level, but it's tried to reject 2 times already. You have this. It's tried to reject here. It got bought up. It tried to reject here. Didn't fully go. And so I'm thinking that this dip below, 135, 133 is going to show some opportunity here for a little bit of a dip buy. And I'm watching it. I see a little buy up here. There was a slight uptick in the, and maybe that's my bad for buying the uptick, but it was a subtle uptick. It was only by like 1 penny, and then immediately I'm having to sell right there. Thank God I get filled, but that put me down $100. I had small size, or just fucking 2,500 shares. Who cares? But lost $100 there, and I was wrong. And looking back on it, also the volume on these two kind of rejection attempts were actually pretty high. And so maybe I could have waited either for this candle to close, since it did go down so far, or for it to be a smaller red volume. Just a smaller volume candle really might have given it, more uncertainty for the sellers, whether they would have taken that or not, or sold. Maybe like it was a long position and already had it. So at that point, I switch my attention here to SGN, and because nothing else was really going on, it was realistically all the attention in the entire small cap market got sucked into SGN, and nothing popped up out of the open anything else that seemed, realistically like I wanted to trade it. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, where am I going to take it if it comes back down? I'm watching it, and my thoughts, 320s-ish area, and we'll see how the fills get. But 320s is what I was looking at. There was no chance I was going to take it for a breakout. I've had such a stupid time with breakouts. Let me say it again. Breakouts fucking suck. For me. Some people are fantastic at them. I am the worst at them. mainly because I just hold too long. Like I give it a like it's like trying to figure out what my fill was and watch the tape and the chart and the changing situation all at the same time in a situation where it's like 75% chance it's going to reject and then 25% chance or 20% chance it's going to like go slightly higher and then a 5% chance that it like really explodes. You know, I just don't like those odds for being okay. So here's my fill. I'm in at 24. It's above my entry immediately. So I'm like, okay, I'll hold it for a little bit. Let's see what it does. See how that candle closes. I take half off right there. It looks like it might push lower here, so I think I take the rest off. Yeah. And I was eager to take the rest off, take a small win there. I got 10 cents off of it, or actually, no, I got 7 and 5 cents on each of the halves. So probably an average of 6 cents on there. I'm like, okay, you know, I was just red, you know, $100 and now I'm flat. I'll take that. Just where I was at on the day kind of determined that, which is okay. I'm going to start being more okay with that type of decision making, because you know in this market it's good to keep the profits when you got them. It's not the type of market where it's like I have very high conviction here and I know that it's a high probability of going much farther. It's more the market where like you're going to get a couple short opportunities to make money and then maybe one opportunity to make a lot of money. And if you're not taking the opportunities just to make, you know, a couple bucks and you miss the big money one or you stop out so many times because there's a lot of you know, false opportunity or just like a lot of opportunities that won't actually go through. You know, there's a probability spectrum of like whether it works out or not on any opportunity. There, because the limited, just because of like the limited amount of those, and then along with the actual skew of probabilities slightly shifting to less than ideal, maybe like 40% of the time that they'll work out. So if you make the mistake on maybe like there's 3 or 4 good ones, if you make the mistake on those 3 or 4 good ones on 2 of them or on 3 of them and you catch one of them and then maybe you know you don't manage the downside as well because it gets out of hand very fast, that's when you can get into trouble in this market and you can have a pretty negative skew. In other times, you'll just get shaken out and it will still go all the fucking time. So it just depends on the market conditions right now. I'm opting for a more conservative style, and that's what I got. So this 5-minute candle, it closes big green. It's actually the biggest green of the day, even from the pre-market, where the pre-market volume was much higher. Crazy, right? It used to never be like that, where the pre-market volume is more than the opening volume. But wild times we live in. Nice little lowish volume candle here. It looks like it's trying to push up. Holding a little bit longer would have netted me some money. I probably could have even, you know, held that half position a little bit longer. But let me see, 10:30. Let's jump to. Ooh, what do I lose that on? I get down to -1. yeah. Actually, this I thought was a good trade. I thought this was a great trade, to be fair. Um, I had 75 shares on and only lost $100 on it. It's like a penny and a half. Or no, I only lost like $80 on it. So let's watch this. I was going for the buy off of support here on the pullback. Okay, so there's the dip. I'm in 2,500. It's holding in 5,000. It's holding ish. I'm in, not the best price. Not at the low price, but just a penny above. Okay, I'm green for just a second here. And I added another share position right there. It's not ripping up. I might have been a little bit too eager on that. And that last buy was a little bit too eager as well. I let this hang out here for just probably a second too long. It kind of got pinned between 19 and 20, which isn't a great sign. That's not a great 1 minute chart either. I don't like that. It's not just bouncing back up fluidly. There's a seller there keeping it down, and the risk is pretty high. And even like on the 5 minute, it's see, and I unwind there I unwind two positions, and then I hold on to my last 2,500 shares, but then I'm going to unwind that pretty quick here too. And in fact, we have, let's watch what happens on SGN. I think I was talking about this earlier. We got going here. This halt down. All right, so it's pushing up here. What could have told us that it was maybe not the best situation to take? What indicator did this give us? I'm watching that pre-market high. That pre-market high is going to be a pretty important level because it really hasn't confirmed above yet. Like, I'm not trusting it. It's not like I would be buying right here. And in fact, it's kind of like the inverse of what I like to buy. See, I would like to, if I were short, I'd be selling right here with a stop at the high. And I think also I became really aggressive on. Okay, so look at this. Yeah, it's pushing down below that high or the pre-market high level. And the way it's selling off there, what I like to look at is the rhythm of the sell-off. And if it's a one-stop unwinding, okay. But this isn't like that. This is more. This is the way I like to think about it is it's showing down right here. It's showing further down. Okay, there's a little buy up. It shows a little further down. It shows further down. It shows more down. And it just keeps making new lows within this candle, right? I think it even does it again. And so I'm sitting here. I'm like, I got to wait for this candle to close. It made another new low. I don't know where it's going to end. See, I'm looking at it for a position here. But it closes solid red down below significant levels. It's the last 1 minute candle of the 5 minute candle. Looks like it's going to confirm. I know it's a lot of jargon, but like it looks like it's going to confirm above that high level where everybody would be jumping in to cover their positions and go long. Um, and it keeps creeping lower. Okay, maybe that might have been a buy right there. Oh, now we'd be stopping out. Okay, down to 50. But now it's below. Now it's a really far dip, right? And it's below the 20. But like you could also say, well, that's hitting descending, the descending trend line, whatever. What I would say to that is the way that it sold off here was just so consistent. I think I'm going to want to see a consolidation candle, at least a 1 minute candle, just going sideways. Just give me some rest on this before I think about going long. I almost actually buy though. Like my hand is clicking the buy button and holding it down. And I avoided disaster there beautifully. Let's watch this one more. I was thinking about buying that halt too because that's a huge drop. That's more than $1. That's in the 3 minutes. It's $1 a share, so it's like a third of the stock's value, quarter of the stock's value. Huge red candle on the 5 now. Okay. And I was thinking everyone's going to pile into here. They do pile into here, but they don't continue piling into SGBX. Ooh, actually, let me show you guys again on here. You might not have seen that. It's up at 4. It keeps making new lows and halts down. All right. My bad for that. All right. $10.30. Mistake chasing off the lows. PLRZ, whatever. So SGBX has like now come all the way down under $1, and it's testing this level. I should have had more cojones and been in right here. When it didn't look as good, then I could always stop out. But instead I chase, and because I chase, there's not really any room to hold. And I have to sell my position early. Yeah, I chase up here, and I chase aggressively too. I buy 5,000 shares, which honestly isn't the most aggressive. But I was like watching the price action and the sellers or the buyers come in, and I just waited a good amount of time. I get a little win off this. Wasn't too crazy, but I couldn't hold it. There was definitely potential to go up to 1, but because it was a chase off the lows, I didn't have a good enough position to stay in. If I were in even, Like here, for example. It's moving slow, to be fair. It's like exactly the line. It's lowish volume. I can be in here with smallish size, and then as it holds, keeps holding, then I'd be golden. Then I would be the golden boy. But nar. Yep, and then it goes back up. I could have got back in. Problem is these areas, they linger and you just don't know. Would have been a good area to get in. I do get in. And then here, 0 volume. I'm thinking it's going to sell. I don't want to get caught off sides super fast. I don't want it to like break below the level, then I stop, then it goes back up. And I think that's what I was waiting for, was that snap below the level. But, sometimes it doesn't happen like that. This was very uncertain because this has just sold off so much. I was just like, I don't know if I can trust this. I don't know which way stuff's going. It gets harder to manage risk because when there's a lot of buyers and sellers, you can kind of tell if they're balanced or not. When there's not a lot of buyers and sellers and the volume's really low, there could be a singular big buyer or seller that could come in and push the price just by executing their orders onto the market. And the order can just go extremely high up or extremely high down. And that's the position where this was at. And I didn't have a clear, idea if I'd be able to stop out in time to get out of the way with only a couple cent loss, etc. So that's all. So didn't want to take the risk. Didn't think it was worth it. Okay. ASBP ends up being the one that we talked about at first. SPRO, this one was really annoying. This was one of the other gappers. And I was so patient on this one. Lost money, but it was a good loss. The kind of way this was trading, move my face one more time. The way this stock was trading it just seemed funny. It didn't seem right. It would make a move. Let me see if I can see an example. Like I was watching it since, where was I watching it? Since here, ready to buy. And I thought it was maybe going to make one more tap lower. Nope, it creeps up higher. And the range was decent on it. Like that top to bottom, that range is about 20-ish cents. Okay. I didn't want to buy mid-range. I was being disciplined. So I don't buy there. I'm thinking it wants to tap maybe below 2.2, maybe tap VWAP. But it actually already consolidated down there, so there was reason to not think it would have done that. Then I was thinking maybe it would make, so if you connect this dot and then this dot and make a trend line, and it does actually end up tapping that trend line if you were to draw that. I think I'll play with it in a second here. Maybe as like a possible next entry. Okay. Yeah, see like that right there? But then it comes down, and because it comes down like that, it looks like it's a rejection candle. Gets bought up. Okay, so maybe it's not rejection. Comes, taps that line, gets bought off of, sort of. Tests below, gets bought up off below again. Okay. I didn't want to break. I didn't want to buy the break of the trend line, so I don't buy that. Just seems funny. And then I wait all this time, and it comes down and halts down. I'm like, ugh, okay. You're halted down. Let's see how you open. It opens, goes right back up. Okay. Don't have any part of that. Closes down, goes up, closes down. Really just doing this, counterintuitive action. And I'm trying to position on it. And so finally it comes to VWAP, and it's kind of taken a long time to get here. I'm like, okay, either it's going to flush really low or this might hold. And so I try to take a position here at VWAP. Actually, where was the first position? It's breaking below this line. I try to take a position in front of VWAP. Nope. Just at VWAP. Got 1,500 shares. Not a big position. And I'm thinking maybe it flushes a little bit lower. It's not busting back above 20. It busts lower right there. So I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. But then I'm like, well, then that's just like the test below the candle. Maybe that's the new position to buy. I think I jumped right back in. Well, it's not dying. It's actually getting bought up a little bit. So I jump in a little bit at the same position, basically. Still pinned at that 20 level. Okay. Well, seller's coming in. I still have my position on. I'm like, oh, let's see what it does. Now there's a big seller, and at that point I was like, hey, F this. I'm out. There was a big offer on the ask. There was like a $440,000 offer, or 40,000 share offer. I was like, I don't need to deal with this. And to be fair, this stock has 40 million shares of float, so a little bit higher float, kind of accounting for this different action that we see. So there it starts busting above right there, and this stock I'm not gonna chase. I lost twice, and I just felt funny, and I wasn't able to read it correctly. So why would I chase something that I don't really have a good read on? It just doesn't make sense, and chasing in general has not been kind to me recently. So no chase, and I stopped trading it. It actually does end up going, but ASPB starts cracking up again, and I make a little money there, lose a little money, kind of go sideways on it, trying to take little areas that I think might pop, but that is pretty much the day. That's pretty much the day, guys.